We are building the laptop store project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. As discussed elsewhere, one of the key learning objectives from this activity is to understand what dictionaries are, how do we use them, and so on. So let's start with a simple question. What is a dictionary? In simple words, dictionaries help us store information in what is known as the key value pairs. We create dictionaries by using curly brackets and specifying the keys and the values in a comma separated manners. For example, as shown here. So for example, dictionary, curly bracket, key 1, colon, value 1, comma, key 2, colon, value 2, and so on. It can have any number of keys. At the first level, we can, especially from the usage point of view, we can think of these dictionaries as some kind of a list, where instead of an item number, we have the keys, and instead of the item itself, we have the values. So for instance, let's say there was a list, of fruits, perhaps apple, banana, orange. Now clearly the 0th item of this list is apple, first item is banana. So, and so on. At the first level, we can say that, look, there's a dictionary where I have these as the keys and these as the values. But let me remind you that there are significant differences, as we'll see later. This is a sort of like a mental model which you can get started with. Let's understand all this with an example. We will create a dictionary to capture the key specifications of a laptop. So let's say I create a dictionary called laptop. So I just do that. Dictionaries, like I said, are created by using curly brackets. So I just put a curly bracket there, and dictionaries store values in the key value format. So I'll just give, for example, let's say brand, colon. So that's the key. The value for this could be, for instance, WDell. So WDell is perhaps some brand. Comma separated. So I put the next key. Let's say I put, the model. And that is, say, for example, ABC111. Again, comma separated. Let's say processor, maybe say CPU. And again, I do a comma separation, and perhaps I go and put, let's say, WINTEL, maybe W for Y, and I5. Now, when I run this piece of code, so that's all I have on this code, which creates a dictionary. When I run this piece of code, I get, so let's just call it lsdemo.py. Notice I have this dictionary called laptop. It kind of displays the results for me as I had almost coded it. If I look at the type of this, that is, it says, so laptop, that is class dict, DICT, standing for dictionary. So this is a dictionary. In this dictionary, the keys are brand, model, and CPU. The values are WDell, model, and WINTEL 5. Like I said, to a first approximation, we can think of this as a special kind of a list. Because we can access the values using the keys, just like we do in lists. So if I, for example, do laptop square bracket, say, for example, brand, I close the bracket, it tells me that's WDell, because basically the value corresponding to this key is WDell. In the same way, if I were to do laptop, for example, let's say CPU, that tells me WINTEL 5. And let's say I choose, in this case, say model. So that tells me, well, ABC111. Now you can see it very clearly. There's no surprise in this, because, laptop, for the key called brand, the value is WDell. And so on. In fact, we can get all the keys and all the values in single lists. In fact, that becomes quite useful sometimes, as we'll see in future. But I can just say, well, for example, laptop dot, let's say, keys. Now this is a method, so that's why I have those two parentheses at the end of it. This returns to me an object called dict keys, but I can convert this into a list, and I'll end up with all the keys in a single list. Now notice this here is a list, because that is, this is in square brackets. Likewise, I can get all the values separately in two lists, which is WDell, ABC11, and WINTEL 5, I5, for example, in this case. So you can see that how dictionary has condensed this whole thing into a single structure. You could imagine that I could have, let's say, a list of keys, list of values, but dictionary puts it all together in a concise manner: key, value, and so on. I hope this has given you some idea. Play with this a little bit, maybe create your own dictionaries. We will go a little bit deeper into this as we move forward, but this was just like a very first introduction to a dictionary. Now, if you want to learn Python in detail in such fun manner where we build activities to illustrate the concepts, look at our website www.ybyte.in, because you will find many such activities. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.